Hi, Nigel. Gosh, those 5 grooming gang survivors who you lied about in a national press conference have now been waiting 38 days for an apology from you. They've also, in fairness, been waiting 38 days for the media to pick up on the fact that you lied about them and refused to apologise to them. I mean, it's been a day since the 11 Holocaust survivors wrote to you and demanded an apology too. I mean, I'm beginning to think that you don't take any responsibility for actions of yours that have caused harm to others. There again, I guess Brexit taught us that anyway. Anyway, the latest in your instalment of you wouldn't do any deal with the Tories because they're appalling, why would we ever trust them, is you've taken another Tory defector. Which is nice, isn't it? Because now you've finally got somebody sitting in the House of Lords, which you've been desperate to get for the longest time. Not so good for Aaron Banks, because I think he was hoping it was going to be him first. So according to reports now, Nigel, Lord Offord will join Danny Kruger in working out how you're going to govern. In other words, the Tories, who you have said are untrustworthy and have been rubbish, are the people that are going to look at the reform policies. So the members of your cult, with an L, who don't want to vote for the Uni Party, are voting for a party who is led by Tories and whose policies are being decided by the same Tories. It all makes sense. Good plans. Which leads me very nicely, actually, to this YouTube interview that I've come across. So firstly, a big thank you to one of my followers who pointed out that I should be aware of this interview. It's with Alan Sked, who used to be in charge of UKIP. Now, interestingly, he's not a fan of yours, Nigel. He said he found you to be stupid. Which means that Alan Sked is supporting the hypothesis that I've been pushing for quite some time now, that you're actually intellectually very challenged. As proven by the fact you're saying, don't let the Tories near government. Ooh, look, we've got another one in our party. But Alan Sked also went on to say that you're an alcoholic. I don't know whether that's true, and that's very sad if that is your reality. I mean, it's certainly true that you are forever being seen with alcohol, but that doesn't mean that you've got a problem with alcohol. But also, you're a fascist. And judging by today's headlines, Alan Sked might have had a little point, mightn't he? Just about the fascist bit, that is. Although I also think you're stupid, but I digress. I have to say, as a populist leader, Nigel, the way you've handled this scandal is really quite shameful. If you'd taken responsibility when the first story resurfaced and just said, yes, I did those things, I'm not proud of them, I'm very sorry for any harm that I created. But you didn't. Even though you'd previously admitted that you'd said these things, you're now doubling down and saying these things are nonsense and it's a campaign against you. Which of course is pissing off more and more people who you've offended, who are going to keep now adding to the narrative with their stories. And unlike when these things have surfaced in the past, all these people, and all credit to them, are actually giving their names. They are putting their names to the story. And again, let's not forget this story first came out in 2013. But you know, what's as interesting is watching your propaganda machine trying to deal with this. Deputy Dick here tries to reframe it as a great week for reform, seemingly thinking that you talking about 1970s sitcoms as being inappropriate was something new to all of us. Like it's not exactly the explosive mic drop that Deputy Dick thinks it is. The ongoing debate around the fact that in a debate around immigration there were refugees in the audience saying their narrative, which you are trying to make out to be some BBC conspiracy, is at best farcical. And when he talks about multiple complaints lodged against the BBC, like they've literally all been by you guys. Like the only people not really talking about this now are GB News. Although you did give a little exclusive interview to your friend Martin. That'll be your friend Martin who was in Brussels with you when you were in the Brexit Party, because Martin was in the Brexit Party. Both of you were friends of Nathan Gill. Strangely enough, GB News haven't spoken about that either. But it's interesting how people are trying to shut it down. Here's Andy Wigmore, who incidentally had some interesting ties with Russia as well. Not that I'm saying that he's a Russian asset, not like your friend Nathan Gill, I'm just saying it's interesting. Here's Andy with Aaron Banks, that time that they were alleged to have been misleading Parliament over the Leave campaign. Or to be more specific, the ties with Russia and the Leave campaign. But I have to say, the narrative I find the most interesting is the Daily Telegraph. Now, I heard Camilla and Jacob Rees-Mogg speaking about this on their podcast yesterday. So on their podcast, they were hypothesising that the media were going to do everything to try to bring you down. I mean, if only, Nigel, eh? Well, not from your point of view, but from the point of view of the rest of us. The media are actually complicit in the cover-up of all the scandals around you. Like the Russian question's gone very quiet, hasn't it? None of them cares that you lied about grooming gang survivors. But it's not a left-wing plot to bring you down, is it? It's called scrutiny and accountability, which you've never actually had before with the British press. And I find it interesting that Camilla and Jacob compare you to what apparently the Democrats tried to do with Donald Trump. Whereas in fairness, what the Democrats tried to do was say this is a known felon, he's an adjudicated rapist, maybe he's not the best person to be president of the United States. We think he's a little bit corrupt. All of that has been proven to be true. Which leads me to think we should use what's happened in the States as a bit of a warning here. As opposed to wait to find out what happens when you get into power, we should be doing more to hold you to account before you get that opportunity. The fact that you've already tried Donald's playbook after Emma Barnett, the Jewish reporter, asked Deputy Dick if you'd said the terrible things that everybody's saying that you said about Hitler. And yet, what you've did, as opposed to going, look, Emma, you're Jewish, I understand why this is going to be really, really important to you. Of course I didn't say that. Or, yes, Emma, I did say that. I was young, I was foolish, I was stupid, and I'm really sorry. You decided to say that she was rubbish, not you. There again, I think you have a bit of a problem with women. I keep saying this, but I think you have. Well, intelligent women, but that's because you lack intelligence. Anyway, before I go, the media don't seem to have picked up on this either. Rupert Lowe, remember the guy that you lied about? You said that you thought he was dementing, even though he quite clearly isn't. Like, I don't think he's very nice, but he's not dementing, is he? Oh, and the guy that you tried to call the police on, and seemingly that was a bit trumped up as well. Oh, there's Trump again. Anyway, he started his own little party called Great Yarmouth First. Catchy name, isn't it? But anyway, that bit isn't going to interest you. But this bit might. In a constituency poll, he has completely annihilated reform. Anyway, I'll let you go. You've got loads of apologies to do now. Good chats, as you were.